All praises to the Most High Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Shalom to the hopeful elect, and double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who were well. Now, I want to talk about Ecclesiasticus chapter 31 here, and I'm just gonna pull it up. I'm gonna be reading, from the Dagger, which is the Apocrypha, but it's on screen here. If you're watching, this is chapter 31, Ecclesiasticus. Watching for riches consumeth the flesh, and the care thereof driveth away sleep. And I can personally attest to this because when I was in the world, I wasn't really in the world, but when I was born in the world, I used to invest in things here and there, and you'd watch, the charts or the what they call the stock market to see, whether or not your stocks rise or they fall. You get up, you check whether or not your stocks have risen or fallen. Even to the point where when I didn't have money certain times, and people who don't have money can attest to this, it's like you look forward to your payday when you're adequate, when you have bread sufficeth for yourself, where you're not starving and you don't need much. And let's get that. Give me bread sufficient for me. Because when you have bread sufficient for yourself, you don't really watch whether or not you get a paycheck or not. You'll get paid and you're like, oh, I got paid yesterday, so on and so forth. Proverbs 38, remove far from me vanity and lies, give me neither poverty nor riches, feed me with food convenient for me. So you don't want poverty, you don't want to be poor lest you take the Lord's name in vain, and you don't want to be rich, lest you forget the Lord. And in chapter 31 here, watching care will not let a man slumber. So you're watching to see whether or not your paycheck come in. You're checking the stocks. You're not really going to get a good sleep. As a sore disease breaketh sleep, the rich have great honor in gathering riches together, and when he resteth, he is filled with his delicates. The poor laboureth in his poor state, and when he leaveth off, he is still needy. He that loveth gold shall not be justified, and he that followeth corruption shall have enough thereof. So all these people who chase money and stuff, they really have a corrupted mind, because money doesn't really mean anything. And all throughout history, you've seen these men chase money, and it's been to no avail, because at the end of the day, you don't remember these dudes. They're dead and they left their gold to somebody else. So riches don't really profit in the day of wrath or on the day of death. Gold have been the ruin of many, and their destruction was present. It is a stumbling block unto them that sacrifice unto it. So you sacrifice your time and your wits unto it, and every fool shall be taken therewith. And I know people who, people will tell me, he loved money. This person loved money. And I was even in a Jamaican food shop the other day, and this dude was like, I love money. And I looked at him, and he looked just as broke as me. Jake loved to act like he's rich and he's balling. These times, you don't have no money. You spent all your money on clothes, on, your rented house that you're paying somebody's mortgage of, or a car finance, and you don't even own the car. The bank owns it until you pay it off, and you spend all your money on interest. So it doesn't even make any sense to be chasing this worthless wealth. I mean, this is the real riches right here. Because we have enough wisdom to be able to discern the folly and the foolishness of these people. Who is he? And we will call him blessed. Who is he? And we will call him blessed. For wonderful things have he done among his people, who have been tried thereof and found perfect. And let him glory, who might offend and have not offended, or have done evil and have not done it. His good shall be established, and the congregation shall declare his alms. If thou sit at a bountiful table, be not greedy upon it, and say not, there is much meat on it. Remember that a wicked eye is an evil thing, and what is created more wicked than an eye? Therefore it weepeth upon every occasion. Stretch not thine hand whithersoever it looketh, and trust it not with him into the dish. Judge of thy neighbour by thyself, and be discreet in every point. Eat as it becometh a man, those things which are set before thee, and devour it not, lest thou be hated. Leave off first for manners' sakes, and be not unsatiable, lest thou offend. And I have to make a point. I remember there was some dude. I didn't really like him, but he was okay, I guess. I just found him to be a snake. But one time we were all at his house, and his mum, he was what people will regard as mixed race, but his dad was a Jake, and his mum was Italian or something, and she cooked this pasta as it was the best pasta I've ever had. I don't think I'll ever have a pasta as good as that. No one's cooked a pasta as good as that, nor since, before or since. That was the best pasta I ever had, and she was Italian, so she cooked it. It tastes so good, and because I weren't really feeling him like that. I knew I weren't really gonna be at that house again, and it was a rare opportunity. So when she offered seconds, I was like, yeah, like I want seconds. And it's like she judged me for me saying I wanted seconds, and she offered, but she never gave me the seconds. So for manners' sake, leave off first. I should have just said, you know what, I'm cool, even though I really wanted it, and I knew I wasn't gonna have an opportunity to eat that again, because I didn't really vibe with him like that. He was a coward as far as I'm concerned, man. I don't really like him, but his mum was cool. She was nice to me, but when somebody offers you something or seconds, sometimes it's best to say no, because they're gonna use that as an opportunity to judge you. Now, I don't necessarily think she had the best judgment, because if she did, she'd still be, with the father of a child. But that's just a point to show you that sometimes, when somebody offers you seconds, or you're in a place, or you're in a banquet or a feast, or you're in a situation where there's people, it's best to just take the humble route, even if you perceive whatever you may perceive. When thou sittest among many, reach not thine hand out first at all. If you're humble, you'll be exalted. If you exalt yourself, you'll be humbled. And what I did is I exalted myself in that situation, and she humbled me by not giving me seconds. And very little is sufficient for a man well nurtured, and he fetcheth not his wind short upon his bed. Sound sleep cometh of moderate eating. He riseth early, and his wits are with him. But the pain of watching, and choler, and pangs of the belly are with an insatiable man. And if thou hast been forced to eat, arise, go forth, vomit, and thou shalt have a rest. My son, hear me and despise me not, and at the last thou shalt find, as I told thee, in all thy works be quick, so shall there no sickness come unto thee. Whoso is liberal of his meat, men shall speak well of him, and the report of his good housekeeping will be believed. But against him that is a niggard of his meat, the whole city shall murmur, and the testimonies of his niggardness shall not be doubted of. Now, I wanted to, get into the word niggardly. Niggard, a mean or ungenerous person, a miser. Niggardly, ungenerous with money, time, etc. mean. And if you look into the word miser, is a person who hoards wealth and spends as little as possible. And we all know people like this, man. Them tight ass jakes, they be working all week. They've ruined their body to be rich, and at the end of the day, they don't really get anything off it, because they don't really get to enjoy their wealth, because they're always working. As it says, a man of wisdom shall come to a man of leisure. Let's get that quick. Ecclesiasticus 38:24. The wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure, and he that have little business shall become wise. So when you're always working, you have much business. You don't have little business, you have much business. You're always busy, and you're never really gonna learn anything, because you come home and you're tired. And I know, because the job I have, sometimes I come home, I'm so tired, I just put my head down, and I'm out for a couple hours. You know what I mean? And I don't work that many days a week, but people who are doing that 5-6 days a week, they're not gonna have any time to read, research, and become wise, because they're always busy, sacrificing onto fools, which is giving your time for this worthless money, and the money don't really mean nothing. Just as long as you have enough for your daily bread, your shelter, and your raiment, that's good enough for you. I'm just gonna finish this off quick. Show not thy valiantness. This goes into another point about wine, but you know the point is made, and let's just get that let's get that quick. Was it clothing, raiment, and shelter? This is First Timothy 6:8, and having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. And they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all evil. Not money is the root of evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. While some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. So these people who chase money and all that stuff, I mean, you looking pretty stupid right now. And I know people who love money, they kill off themselves for money, always working, thinking they're doing something. And when you really speak to them, they're really just fools. They don't have any wisdom to give. They think they have wisdom to give, but they don't have any wisdom when you really ask them to elaborate on certain things. They're always trying to exalt themselves in something that they know, but they don't really know anything. And I know people like this personally, you know what I mean? Like they're really fools, because they spend all their time on something that's not permanent, that doesn't transfer over. You know, when you're in this word, you know, these are the real witches. You know, when you die and you come before the Lord, you know, that wisdom is going to be counted for you. I mean, we sin all the time. By the end of the day, if you're seeking the Lord wholeheartedly, that's going to be counted for you. You know, you seeking money wholeheartedly, it's not going to be counted for you, because you're gonna save all this money, buy all this house, and what happens? I mean, look at all these people with mortgages and car finance and car payments and all of this stuff. A lot of them are losing the stuff because of Corona. They're losing their job and all of that kind of stuff. It's like even my neighbors perceived that I wasn't in the same spirit as them. I remember one of them said, you know, they said this outside my window. I think they were trying to be sly, you know. I just found it funny. There was like, basically, Corona affected those who were doing well, and this is doing well by the world's sakes, you know, because, you know, if you wasn't in the world, you know, you was laughing. I watched the brother Enduring Branches video all the time, and every single time he brings out a video, he's laughing at the calamity of these people, and it puts me in good spirits. But these people are not in good spirits, because they put all their eggs into the basket of this world, and they're not gonna get anything from it. You know, it's like the Lord said, he gave you a penny and you hid it. You know, when you're going out, when you're in this word, you know, you're trading with this money, and that's gonna bring you forth more. These people, you know, they're even if they've been given the word, they've hidden it. You know, they don't really care about, you know, the wisdom of the Most High, and seeking the Most High and fearing the Lord. So in the end, it's not gonna count for them. You know, and that's pretty much it. You know, all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Jeremiah who rule well. Shalom to the hopeful elect.